My name is Anand Murugesan, Director of Products at Netskope.
In this video, we are going to learn about table calculations. This video is a little advanced video. You need to know about what are custom measures, dimensions, and filters before coming to this video. Hence, I recommend you to just go back and learn about those topics before you learn this. So that way it will improve your comprehension.
What I have done over here is there are two things rather than one thing from alerts, the total bytes. I brought in the file size as well. What I've done over here is I've done the calculation of the two things together, which is the total bytes coming from alerts as well as the file size coming from alerts. Yeah. So all I've done is I've basically added the two together so that I can account for discovery as well as inline block traffic. So I'm actually using two concepts here, custom measures, and there is a table calculation also on it to calculate the percentage. So what I'm doing in the custom measures is I'm just putting a filter. So far what I was showing you custom measures were where you can kind of do count of policies, sum of connection duration. But here now what I want to do is I want to find out risky applications for that gauge I was showing, right? The 85%. For that one, I need to know total number of applications. I need to know the risky applications. So what I'm doing is I'm doing number of risky apps and I'm putting this filter on it. So there is a filter. And then the reason I cannot filter on over here, the CCL, is because then I will not get the total number of applications. In this case, I want the total number of applications. I want the risky applications out of that total. And then using that, I want to calculate the percentage. And so if I show you, what I'm just doing is risky apps divided by the total apps. And the other thing I want to show you is it gives you hints. So I'm just starting a new table calculation, right? So I want to do the same thing as the percentage of the risky apps. I can start typing applications, right? So it starts giving you hints. Okay, so number of applications. So actually I want to start off with the number of risky apps in this case. So let me type in the risky apps. So it's going to give me the number of risky apps. I'm going to divide it by the number of applications. So it gives me that. So you don't really have to know the syntax of how to write these. As you start typing in, it's going to give you a hint of what to do. So if I just removed a last parentheses, right? So then it's going to give you also hints on the right that, okay, what is wrong with that calculation? So it gives you hints as you type in. So I feel like this is kind of pretty convenient because you kind of get all of these details. I can format this. So I want to format this as a percentage. Because now I'm calculating the percentage of risky apps, right? So I'm going to calculate that. I'm going to format that as a percentage. And of course, just like the other ones, we looked at the GBs, right? I can define my own custom where I can say hash, or I can just say it's a percentage without decimal. And that's how my calculation 3 is. And it gets added over here. The functionality, what I'm talking about is over here, the period over period. What it lets you do is there are a couple of things you have to pick over here, which is the reference date, which is basically tells you what your reference period is. And when I talk about reference period, meaning what is my current period. So in this case, I want to compare August month. So that's why I picked the reference date as anything in August. But my time frame is what determines how I'm comparing. Am I comparing week over week, or am I comparing month over month? Am I comparing quarter over quarter? So time frame determines how I'm comparing. This date tells me what period I'm comparing. In this case, I'm comparing August month with July. So these two are very important fields here. So reference date and time frame. And then I pull in the other thing is the period name. So that tells me, so that gives me two things, which is over here, the reference period and the previous period. And then I do the calculation based on that. There could be cases where I don't have any data for the previous period. So there could be because the customers have 90 days, right? So they might be looking at the reference date as the third month. So they might not end up getting anything in the previous period. So this is the reason I'm kind of using some table calculations over here. So if I edit this, all I'm doing in this calculation is using a lookup function. So this is also another thing in where I can look up a particular value in a particular column and then get another value. So what I'm doing over here is, let me show you. So I want to look up in this case. So it tells you there are three things you need to put. So, and then it tells you also what each of those arguments are. So in this case, I want to look at reference period. And then what is my lookup column, right? So that's the next one. So lookup column is the period name. So that's why I type in period name. So it gives me that. And then the last thing, what I need is, what is my result column? So if I find reference period in this column, then I want to know the number of alerts. That's what I want to know. So if I type in alerts, it gives me that, so I can get that. So basically, this is how I'm looking up one particular value in a particular column. So this gives me a reference period, and same thing I'm doing for the previous period, and then using those two, I'm doing the calculation. Basically, that's the 156% up. So all of these stuff is to get this calculation. Just a couple of more things here. There is a time frame over here. This functionality, so let's, I want a little bit, let's remove everything what we have. So let's bring in again the reference. I want to just show you what this time frame is as well. So in this case, let's again bring in the number of alerts. Yeah, so October, so I'm going to go back because I don't think I have data for October. So month, and then I'm going to just change event date. I don't really need in this case. So event date can be ignored. So I'm just going to put it as any time. So now if I do this, what I'm going to get is, so let's close this. So it's going to actually give me the next level of detail as well. Now this becomes useful when I want to compare 2 months. So let's say I want to compare the August month data with, or August month data showed with the July month each day. Now I have the number of alerts for each day of my current period as well as the previous period. So I have all of those. So like you see the 30th day for previous period as well as reference period. So now I can get that comparison as well, period over period. But if I remove this, then it will just give me a summarized information like I was showing you before. So it will just give me 2 rows, total alerts for the 2 periods.